Susan Collins, Catching Fire. This is the second book in the Hunger Games series. 391 pages with 27 chapters. And I really was thinking about this as there's another Hunger Games, right? Like round two, here we go. So it was a good book, but the first one I would label as great. So if you read the first one and stop, that is totally acceptable. If you feel the desire, you can watch the movies for the second two. But yes, the first one was amazing. The second one was okay. So it took almost 200 pages to get to the next Hunger Games. So there was a lot of build up, a lot of story building. And really it opens with the end of the last games. Katniss is in Victor's village, with a house, and so it's like a life of luxury. And President Snow shows up and pretty much threatens her life and all of her friends and family's lives, and is like, "Hey, there's rebellions in other districts. Like, get it together, convince me that you didn't rebel and that it was all for to keep Peeta safe." So that is the opening premise. So they go on a victory tour, visit the 11 other districts, and a couple of them are in open rebellion. I think it's like 2, 4, or no, it's like 3, 4, and 8 or something like that, or 4, 8, and 11, or I don't know. Anyways, uh, the victory tour was interesting. You got to see the different things that each district produced. They each had their own style, but they didn't go through. The book didn't describe every single district. But yeah, upon arriving back in 12, Katniss goes hunting like she always did before in the woods, and she comes across two runaways. And this has happened before, but the last two were captured or killed and taken to the capital. So these two, it's kind of like another chance. They're from 8. They survived a rebellion, factory explosion, and so they're trying to flee to 13. And so this is kind of like the first experience that Katniss gets with any rebels. They show the biscuits with the Mockingjays on them. They're like, "Hey, we're trying to get out," and that was really the first experience she's had, and she's really like in the dark. Like she doesn't know what's happening in all the other districts, even after visiting them for the victory tour. So this whole book is really about Katniss being in the dark on almost every aspect of almost everything. So she's kind of stumbling through it, but has her own hopes and fears and dreams. And that's one thing that I really liked about the book series here, is that she's not Superwoman. She learned her skills. She earned her place. Like, she has doubts. She thinks through situations. She cares about her family, all that stuff. Like, it's really cool seeing her or reading about her thought process. So I enjoyed that part. And of course, a new district manager shows up for 12, and the whippings commence. So yeah, much harder on rule breakers than the previous district manager who dealt out discipline. This is the 75th anniversary of the rebellion, and so every 25 years they do a Quarter Quell, which is like a special Hunger Games. And so this one is extra special in that it's no longer picked from the reaping. This is now picked from those who are victors previously. So since District 12 only has 3 victors, and you're required to have both a male and female representative, Katniss is the only female victor, and so she's automatically chosen, whereas Haymack and Peeta have to, duke it out to see who goes. So this is a different arena, jungle and water based. So there's like the water where the cornucopia is in the center. and there's a beach, and then the rest is jungle, and there's varying dangers in the jungle, but there's also the edge of the arena, the shield, and that plays a big part in this story, in that in the preparation, watching videos, Katniss and Peeta watched how Haymak won his games, and he actually utilized the force field, so that's something that they take into account, and I really liked that part of the story, so that was really cool. And of course, the cornucopia is in the water in the middle, so swimming is pretty key. Some tributes can swim, some can't. So I feel like that should be like that would be like a very basic skill that everyone would try out before going in. But I don't know. This one's a whole different one. It's all mixed up. Everybody's thrown into chaos because it's from victors instead of the reaping. Things I really liked: the arena. It was awesome. Lots of danger, lots of fun, or it was neat seeing how they handled the danger. Of course, they were all deadly dangers and lots of people die. That's the whole goal or objective of the Hunger Games, but it was an interesting scenario, I thought. Katniss and Peeta both getting 12 ratings. That was really cool. I liked how they pretty much slacked off and they still got 12. That was sweet. And really, it's kind of like, to wrap it all up, a Trouble in Paradise story, right? They're both victors. They're supposed to live a life of luxury, not have to worry about anything, right? All they have to do is mentor a new tributes once a year. So it's supposed to be an easy life, but of course, twists and turns. So things I didn't like: it took a while to get to the Hunger Games. Like I mentioned before, 200 pages or so. I also didn't like how they didn't tell Katniss and Peeta about anything, about getting them out, about the rebellion, about anything. They kept them totally in the dark, and I disagreed with that 100%. It just didn't sit right with me. The victory tour also seemed kind of strange. Like, I know it's what they do every year and you kind of got to follow the tradition, but I feel like they could have either split them up and done them individually, like gone to different districts at different times, or even done like a video conference. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, it turned out how it turned out. It was a good book. I think it's worth your time, but keep your expectations lower than the first book. The first book was lights out. So this is Catching Fire from Susan Collins, and remember to buy your books used.